Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hannah Olson and I live in Minnesota with my husband and our 3 children, Sophie, Soren, and Svea. Sophie is 6, Soren is 4, and Svea is 11 months old. And we homeschool. That's the topic for today's video, so I think you expected that. I'm an elementary teacher turned homeschooling stay-at-home mom, and I love it. This is my dream job. This is what I am called to do in this season of life, and I am so grateful for it. In today's video, we are continuing with our series. I believe it'll be a 2-part series. We'll see how long this video gets. But there is a part 1 that I will link down below for you. It is about how to begin homeschooling. And my hope for this series is just that it will encourage you and give you a little extra motivation and also some tips for making the start of your homeschooling journey more smooth. So without further ado, we're just going to jump back into the tips, and like in my last video, I've got my notes here, so if you see me looking down, I'm just making sure I'm not forgetting anything. And yeah, let's get started. All right, let's jump in with our first tip for today's video. It is to find a homeschooling mentor or a friend that you can text with questions, because it is not fun to feel like you're in it alone. Hopefully, my goal is that my YouTube channel, it acts like that for you, but it helps so much to have someone who you know in person, who you can ask homeschool questions to, and who you can just kind of come alongside and maybe see how they are doing things. You don't have to necessarily copy someone exactly, because your home and your family culture and your children's needs are different, but boy, it helps to have someone who you can quickly send a text or a message off to regarding curriculum or regarding maybe how they handle a certain situation in their homeschool. For me, I was educated in a public school system all the way up through 12th grade, and so I can't ask my mom necessarily how to homeschool, although she has amazing parenting advice and advice with raising little kids and all of that. But when it comes to actual homeschooling, like logistics and stuff, it has helped me so much to have friends I can turn to, friends who are my age, friends who are older than me and in a different life stage than me. And this could also be a homeschool mom that maybe you meet at a co-op, or it could be a mom you know from church. Sometimes it could even be a homeschooling mom on YouTube or Instagram. And like I said, I hope my channel is encouraging to you and gives you advice that way too. But definitely look for at least one person who you can reach out to with questions. My next tip is to find a way that you can plan and record your homeschooling days, like the days that you are doing school. And even Amazon has inexpensive homeschool planners. Etsy has beautiful homeschool planners, and even some that are just a PDF or digital download so you can print it off yourself. That's actually what I did for this school year. I bought 2 inexpensive different Etsy homeschool planner downloads. Ooh, that's a mouthful. And I printed both of them off, and because I wanted different items, different elements from each, and I combined them. So there are a lot of ways you can do it, but there are simple ones on Amazon that you can just quickly add to your cart, and then you are set for at least a good baseline, a good basic way for you to record your homeschooling days. I want to also recommend that you consider doing something called reverse planning. At first, I did not like this idea. When I first heard of this idea, I was not a fan of it, and then it slowly grew on me to the point that this is now what I do. Reverse planning is essentially when you write down what you did today, so after the fact. I do it either during or immediately after our homeschool time every day. I write down the date and each subject or each child and what they did pretty much exactly. I don't write down exact page numbers, but I also, in our actual course books, I do a check mark at the top of the page and I write the date that we finished that page. So I do have a way to know what we did every single day exactly, but then with reverse planning, you're writing down what you did already and not what you are planning to do the next day. This definitely differs between homeschooling moms, so you'll have to decide if this is right for you. But I found that when I was writing out in a planner exactly what to do on, Monday the 15th of the month, something could come up, or we could have had a more difficult morning with the newborn, all sorts of things. And then we shifted to do math in the afternoon, or maybe we did math the next day, and suddenly my perfect cute plan was no longer very helpful for me to refer to, and I was constantly moving things with arrows. If you don't mind rewriting or erasing or drawing arrows to the next day, that's just fine, and maybe you do want to lay out exactly what to do every week. I've tried a couple different approaches, and I've just found that reverse planning works really well for me. Getting into the habit of recording what you've done for school every day, regardless of if you're planning ahead and then you just check it off every day, or if you're doing reverse planning, it's a very important habit to get into, because at some point you will be accountable for your child's learning. I'm especially speaking to you if you have a child who is a lot younger, like maybe age 3 or 4, and you're wanting to ease into homeschooling, or maybe they're 5 or 6. And your state doesn't necessarily have legal requirements for education at that age. I would still recommend getting into the habit now, getting into the habit early, sooner rather than later, of recording what you've done for school, so that it's not a shock to you and it doesn't feel overwhelming to you when the time comes to be more accountable to your state and more accountable in terms of providing evidence for what you have accomplished every day or accomplished throughout a school year. My next tip is to be flexible and to understand that it will take some trial and error, especially during your first year, but definitely over the years. There is always flexibility needed and tweaking needed as your life seasons ebb and flow in terms of stress and busyness, and when you're watching the needs of each child that you're homeschooling. And so I just wanted to encourage you that way, that over the years you will need to tweak things. School might not start at the exact same time every day. It may not last for the exact same amount of time every day too. I have found this to be true, especially when we add a new baby to our family. And if you have more than one child, you'll find this to be the case, that things change as a baby turns into a more mobile baby, and then into a toddler, and then eventually maybe not taking a morning nap. There are all sorts of things that change throughout your homeschool morning. If you can tell yourself now that things will need to be flexible over the years and seasons will come and go, that helps you to not set yourself up for discouragement or just burnout. So definitely, I know it's hard to be flexible. I'm not naturally a flexible person, I have found over the years, and my husband is more flexible and he has definitely helped me out. But yeah, we'd want to understand that sometimes changes have to be made. It's not the end of the world. Next, don't underestimate the power of reading lots of books to your children. I talk about this in my online course, the Present Mama Playbook, as well, but books are a fabulous reset button for your day at any time of the day. Books do not need to be specifically saved for only bedtime or only school time even. Books are so valuable for your children's education. And I think we all know how valuable books and reading and learning to read are, but I just wanted to emphasize that you can go to the library, get a giant stack of books. You can look for specific books or just find things once you are there, and come home and read a whole stack of books with your kids, and that is free. You can also buy books. In our family, we do love to buy books, especially at discount bookstores or online. Buying used books is so fun, but so much learning can come from books. It's a whole new world, and I wanted to encourage you that you don't need all the things, but you definitely can read stacks of books with your kids, and it will benefit them so much. In terms of books, I also have 2 good book recommendations for you. The first one is the book called The Read Aloud Family. It is a very interesting and motivational book when it comes to the importance and even logistics of infusing more read aloud time into your family's culture. I think that book will further help you feel equipped for reading to your kids and more excited about that too. It was exciting and inspirational to me, and I already loved reading to my children. I love read aloud time so much, and I still super recommend that book. I was underlining things left and right. So I will link that down below for you. It's called The Read Aloud Family. The next book I want to recommend to you is the book called Teaching from Rest. Teaching from Rest is such an inspirational book. It's encouraging to homeschool moms, and it's a shorter read. It's one of those books that I like to revisit at the start of every school year, kind of in the summertime. I like to read it right before we start a school year, and it gives me fresh perspective and fresh motivation for being intentional about homeschooling. So definitely check out the book Teaching from Rest. It's not super long, and I think it could really help you ramp up in terms of feeling inspired for your homeschool journey. This next tip may sound like it goes against the tip about being flexible, but it is to try to be consistent with a certain time of day and routine for your homeschooling time. So I have a video on my YouTube channel here all about creating a peaceful homeschool environment. A lot of the fact that it's peaceful is because it is a good routine. And so if you can get into a good routine, you will find that you look forward to homeschool mornings more, your kids know what to expect, and everything will go a lot more smoothly. I will link that video down below about how to set up the environment for a peaceful homeschool morning, and hopefully that is helpful to you. But it is so helpful to get into a predictable and smooth and peaceful routine. My next tip for you is to figure out time blocks for your day. This is opposed to having an hour by hour schedule. Now there are certain things that are more specific to times in our family, like our kids' clock, their nightlight turns green in the morning so they know they can come out of their room at a certain time, and we do quiet time at pretty much around the same time every afternoon. Quiet time is something I get into more in my online course, but basically it is not necessarily nap time, and it's definitely not screen time. It is separate time for all of us to relax. And so while some things are dictated by time during our day, especially commitments, of course, you can still create general time blocks or chunks of time in your day that are more of a window when something can happen, or a range of time instead of an exact schedule. I think with an exact schedule, we often set ourselves up for failure when something happens that we can't control or that we can't predict. So having effective time blocks in your day can be very useful for you as a homeschooling mom. I actually go over time blocks and having anchors in your day in my free masterclass, which is linked down below for you. It is all about being peaceful and productive as a mom of littles. And so I definitely encourage you to go and watch that free masterclass if you are into managing time wisely and being productive, and if you also don't necessarily have outside childcare. Next, I recommend choosing a school song. This is not like a sing-songy preschool song, more of a song that your whole family likes, or maybe it's some worship music or classical music that signals to your kids that it is time to start or continue with the school day. For us, we have a classical music for kids playlist that I can link down below for you. I made it on Spotify and I filled it with classical music that did not bother me. If you know what I mean, classical music sometimes can be a little bit more angsty. It can have all sorts of emotions and feelings, and I wanted something that wasn't strictly just piano music, but it also wasn't too crashy, if you know what I mean again. So I definitely recommend having music that signals to everyone that it is school time. My kids always actually ask for me to turn on our classical music playlist for homeschool time, and I love that turning that on really sets the stage for knowing it's time to sit down and maybe work on our independent work or sit with mama. It just kind of sets the stage. So I just love how things like music give us a cue as to what is coming next. So definitely look into some kind of music that can signal to your family that it is time to do school. My next tip is to remember it's totally okay to let go of things that are not currently working for your family in this season or at the moment. And that's because if we cling to our promises to ourselves or to others of what exactly we are going to be doing this school year or for this subject, we might miss out on other opportunities or miss out on kind of reading what our kids need. There may be fun opportunities, there may be new resources that we would miss out on, and we need to be in tune with what our family culture needs at the moment and what a certain child needs, what each of our children needs in their homeschool journey as well. So this is your chance to give yourself permission to not cling to exactly what you said in August or September you would be doing, and now it's January or February and it's not working for your family any longer. You don't have to stick with what you thought you would originally be doing if it is not serving you well. My final tip is to chase the fun. And this is a phrase that I've heard and it stuck with me. Sometimes just doing the 3 R's, which is writing, reading, and arithmetic, sometimes that and trying to be so minimalistic can work for a family and work for a season, especially if you need to pare down on things for a while. But sometimes sticking to such a bare, minimalistic approach can take some of the fun out of homeschooling, some of the creativity out of the homeschool journey. And you want a chance to learn and explore and grow alongside your kids. And you probably have a variety of learners in your family if you have multiple children. And sometimes when we pare it down so much, we definitely lose the chance to chase the fun. I'm not saying that you need to ditch the simple open and go curriculum or open and go paired with a morning basket, that philosophy that I mentioned in my first video, but you can definitely look for opportunities to add on fun little adventures or pursuing a little interest that your child is really into right now, or watching nature documentaries about something they're interested in, going to the library, checking out extra books on a certain subject, even though it's not exactly in your plan or what you anticipated doing that week. So I just wanted to remind you to continue chasing the fun. That is such a huge benefit of the homeschool journey and the homeschool atmosphere. You can chase the fun. You've got the time to do it because your days aren't filled with a lot of what the public schools must be doing in terms of classroom management, getting everyone lined up, bathroom breaks for 20 plus kids, and lunchtime that takes a lot of time. You have the flexibility as a homeschooling family to truly chase the fun or chase different passions and pursuits. And I wanted to encourage you in that. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope it was encouraging, helpful, motivating, all those things for you as you begin your homeschooling journey. I wish you the best in your journey, and feel free to comment down below with any other questions or comments that you might have. Also, if you aren't already subscribed to my YouTube channel here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful for you. I sure hope it was. And I wanted to mention I have an email list you can also sign up for. That's where I share whatever is new on YouTube and the blog, and I share a tried and true recipe recommendation every time, or a meal idea, because we moms are always looking for fresh meal ideas and inspiration. So I personally love that, so I want to always be sharing helpful things with you. I also have a course called the Present Mama Playbook. It's a motherhood and homemaking course, and it's all about maintaining fresh and healthy perspectives and mindsets in motherhood, and the homemaking side of it too. So having a home that runs smoothly behind the scenes and doesn't bring extra stress into your life. There are also countless videos about parenting tips and tricks and strategies, things that I've learned over the years as not only an elementary teacher, but as a stay-at-home mom myself. You can sign up for the Present Mama Playbook waitlist down in the description box below. I'm so excited because the course has recently gotten a big revamping and refreshing. There are now over 100 videos that are going to be in the course, and I can't wait. So definitely sign up for the waitlist down below. I am also so excited to now announce that I have a free masterclass available to you. It is a free online masterclass all about 4 productivity secrets that you can start using today as a mama of littles. And I'm so excited about this. It's some of my very best tips and tricks for you when it comes to time management as a mom of little kids and a mom who doesn't necessarily have outside childcare. I firmly believe that productivity, being productive, and having peace are not mutually exclusive. You can have both in your home, and I'm so excited about this webinar. I will link it down below for you, so definitely check that out. Thanks again for watching and for being here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and I'll see you in my next one.